Hello again, you're joining us on this edition of India Tonight. Now, the question that we were raising before the break is whether India needs this Digital Competition Act. And we were just telling you how a Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance, which is led by BJP's Jayant, Sinha, has recommended measures to prescribe a code of conduct for big tech companies. And the panel has thought that the new act is going to deter these tech giants from stifling competition with the sheer strength of their market power. And the title of that report is Anti-Competitive Practices by Big Tech Companies. Let's get perspective on this. Praveen Khandelwal is the Secretary General at CAIT and he's joining us. Mr. Khandelwal, great to have you with us. The moot question is whether we need a law like this. How much of an issue is the competitive landscape right now for big tech companies compared to many of the offline players which don't have the marketing might, for example, that the big tech companies do?
Well, certainly we should have an act like Competition Commission Act because the tech companies, based on their enormous skills and deep pockets, they are always in a position to control and offer great damage to the local trade of India, which we have seen in the past. These big tech companies are in fact not indulging into any kind of a business,
Yes,
but rather they are involved into a game of valuation of their own companies,
right.
and their investors are more willing to offer them a big chunk of money so that they can burn cash, and this is what exactly happening since last more than 10 years.
So what is the
in
damage,
India.
Mr. Khandelwal, what exactly is the damage that big tech companies are causing with the way they function?
Because they offer predatory pricing, deep discounting, loss funding, owing inventory, having a unholy nexus with the brand owing companies, and unfortunately few of our banks are also involved into it, because banks are giving cashbacks only on negotiating their card in online and not offline. So there is totally a non-competitive field for the indigenous traders or indigenous industry.
But
So
tell me, Mr. Khandelwal, why shouldn't customers, and this just to play the devil's advocate over here, why shouldn't customers want these heavy discounts? They gain in the bargain, don't they?
see, discounts, but at what cost? At the cost of sovereignty of your country, at the
So
cost of sovereignty of your business. We
then
have
is this
living
about
example
protectionism?
see, see, everything has a parameter. So are you ready to get the discounts at the cost of losing your liberty, your sovereignty, your right to trade, your right to have the best goods under the parameters of your spending? So there are certain riders also. So I mean, these companies are acting like East India Company, and I really fear that if this kind of practices are allowed, then definitely these companies will control the entire ecosystem of retail trade of India. And in that case, you will see that whatever discounts they are offering today, tomorrow when they are in a dominant position, they are not going to give you discounts. They will
But
charge
some,
their own prices.
yes, but Mr.
And
Khandelwal, some may argue that that is their business model. Deep discounting is how they function, and that's how they grow and become big tech.
this is
And
not
if
business.
India has to
What I am-
compete,
what-
if
what-
India has to
what-
compete at a level playing field, then they would also need to up their game. How do you go about doing
So
that?
that is why we need a competitive act, because I think you will agree with me, there has to be an equal level playing field, and nobody should be allowed to destroy the level playing field, and whatever stipulations are there in the law, you are not supposed to violate the law. These companies are violating the law. The FDI policy, press note 2 of 2018, which clearly stipulates that they can't do predatory pricing, they can't do deep discounting, they can't do loss funding, they can't have owing inventory, and these
Mr.
companies are already
Khandelwal,
doing
why
it.
are those laws not being followed, and why do we need a new law?
No, but see, we need a robust e-commerce policy. We need a robust and empowered regulatory authority, and we need and to protect our consumers, we need we need consumer protection rules for e-commerce. So we
Sorry,
cannot give our country
Mr.
as an open
Khandelwal,
playground for these companies to play.
how is this compromising the position of consumers?
Because whatever they are offering today, and in most of the cases, suppose if a consumer has ordered for a mobile, he has got bricks, he has got so many other things. There is no one to understand. There is no one to appreciate the problems of the consumers, and this is what happening since last more than 2-3 years when these companies are in a dominant position.
We'll have to
So
wait and see
consumer
what exactly this report is going to bring out when it finally becomes a law, and how stringent it is and how the big tech companies are going to take it, because they'll have to brace for such stringent laws, and how this is in line with global laws when it comes to protectionism of a certain kind. That also needs to be looked into. But Mr. Khandelwal, it's a pleasure chatting with you and getting your perspective on this edition of India Tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.